Right, one is most annoyed, isn't one? I'm that annoyed I'm drinking some Ribena instead of brew. Right, here's the score with the mobility scooter. Last night I'd done more than I really should have done and made myself poorly. And I did about 3 hours worth of work in the kitchen, breaking that seat down that was all wet and gooey. I don't know if I've got any of that footage at all previous to me stripping it down last night of the seat for this mobility scooter. And my phone stopped recording. It said memory's low. So I did some. I looked into it, and the internal memory was absolutely chocker. Whatever I was doing, recording, whatever, was going onto the internal memory, not onto the SD card, which is a 64 gig card. So that was like empty. So I transferred a load of stuff over this morning, after I found out that. Because last night I was so tired, knackered, physically drained, mentally drained, suffering. So I thought, right, I'll do it tomorrow. No point in trying to get stuck in that now. Anyway, long story short, all that footage is lost. I'm pissed off. Not pissed, I'm pissed off. No, not yet. So, bring you up to speed. Posty's been today. And in this box was the 2 batteries required for the scoot. Let's put me light on. Oops. So here's the 2 batteries. I have wired them up to their individual plugs. You've got a black plug and a red plug there. So basically, the red of one goes to live, and the black of another goes to live, and the other red and black get connected together via the RCD. I think that's right in saying. So basically, power comes in, loops across to that one, then power goes out, because it's 24 volt. If there's one battery or 2 smaller batteries, it'll be 12 volt, but it's not. It's 24 volt, which is great. So plugged it all in after cleaning everything up as best I could. Put the ignition on, all lit up beautifully. We had hazard lights, we had indicators. That's the lights on and off, hazard lights, so on, horn, full power on there after I charged it up with that charger there. Ooh, that one there. And nothing at all. Wasn't even a click or anything from the relay or the starter in it. Anyway, here is the ECU, which is electronic control unit. Basically, it's it's an ECU, electronic speed control, or ESC. Sorry, electronic speed control. There is the RCD, 30 amp RCD, I think it is. Let's turn my light off. Yeah, 30 amp RCD. And I've had this all apart. I should have started recording, but I've just suddenly realised I'm not recording. So there we go. I've had that all apart. 2 screws there. This slides out like on a tray once you've released these 2 little screws on the bottom. So it just basically comes out like a drawer. I'll check the printed circuit board. I'll check the fuses on it. I'll check that main fuse there. Cleaned it up with some isopropyl alcohol and a paintbrush, the PCB. Cleaned all that up. And yeah, I'm getting good readings off of that. Good continuities. Good open circuits and all the rest of it. Everything bells through. So that's fine. That was my first port of call. Internal fuses inside an ESC, electronic speed control. Basically, this is a big remote control buggy, isn't it, basically? So yeah, my next port of call was obviously the starter motor gearbox. We've got a little oil or grease even. Yeah, grease nipple there. Wonder how many times that's been greased. Mind you, there is a bit of leakage. You can see a bit of seepage going on there. So anyway, I removed 6mm hex drive bolts. Remove those 4. There is the drive. So we've got, instead of having a shaft coming out the starter motor, there's actually a recess where this shape slots into that. So let's go and have a look at the starter motor. Here is said starter motor. Let's move that out of the way. Okay, and there is that recessed sort of rectangular drive. Now we can see that it works fine. I've checked the brushes, and there's one there, and there's one there, and they are literally, in my infinite wisdom, oh, it's fucking thundering again. I ordered a spare set of brushes just in case, because I knew that we've not seen it running, and it doesn't run. I ordered some brushes, and these brushes in here must have been put in to try and rectify a problem, because these are new brushes already installed. So that's good. Now here's the thing, as that's bolted up to the gearbox, which will be here, here is the end of the motor. Okay, we've got two little rubber what are they, what would you call them? They're basically like little bits of rubber, basically. So like, you know, like on a wankel engine, they would be the blades, sort of thing. And that spins around, and bolted on the end of here is a solenoid, basically. And here it is. Let's put that over there, and let's bring the solenoid into play. That's it. So if we look in the middle, there is the hexagonal. See that there? Where this goes onto it. Now all I can think of is those two little literally pieces of rubber slid down into the brass fitting. I think it's Allen keyed on there as well, both sides. And I think that just takes up a little bit of whack when the torque kicks in. Don't know. Anyway, I say this bolts onto the end of the engine. Three great big long bolts, and there they are there. I think they're M4, yeah, they're M4s. Or are they? M5s actually. So that sits on the end of there like so, and these, after reading some literature, can seize. And they're not very expensive. I think they're about £65 or something like that. So you know me, £65 is £65 to me right now. Not so. There we are. So I'm going to open it up and see if I can fix it. Now it looks to me, let me get me little Wera hex bit. It's a lovely set. This is. This disc, I think, is supposed to rotate, obviously, with the end of the armature. So looking at that, that is proper in there. Now I could just squirt a bit of, I don't know, a bit of grease in there, or you know, something sort of like that, a bit of lithium or something like that. But I want to take this apart and see. I think it's the brake. It's the brake, isn't it? So that solenoid would compress that plate to lock it in place, and I think it's not releasing. So in good old eadsie tradition, I've just broken that off, and I've yet to break these other two off, because I just suddenly remembered that I wasn't recording. A bit more light on the subject for you. If that's too bright for your eyes, just put your dark glasses on, or turn your brightness down on your telly. All right. And here's the last one. Let's have a go at this. Oh, Christ. That was my knees, incidentally, not that. Well, I'm just going to pause that there and then start recording again, because we're 9 minutes and 10 seconds in, and I want this to flip and record and not record. So I'm going to stop that there. And here we go. Welcome back. So let's just dive into this and go away. Now all the connectors seem pretty good. There is one main connector. It looks like what would come from the stator on a combustion engine. Big 4-pin plug. It had a little bit of greenery going on, so that needed addressing. Let me just pause you there. Actually, let's not pause you there. As I'm unwinding these screws, nothing's getting easier, because it's spring pressure. You see that spring pressure there? And as I'm undoing it, Look out. I might make this 3D. See how... Whoa, look out. Whoa. That's cool. See, as I'm undoing it, it's rising up. We know a song about that, children, don't we? You wait in a minute. That's just going to go boing. It's going to end up in my Ribena, and it's going to be chaos, isn't it? But let's keep going. Oh, there's one. Let's put that screw over there with the other ones. Perhaps I shouldn't have let that go like that, really, to be fair. I see they're Loctited in, that makes sense. Do you know what? There's quite a bit of pressure on there. But when you put the power on, turn the ignition on, there were no clicks or anything. There were no relays clicking. And there is a big relay inside that control, that eadsie. Electronic speed controller. Right, let's pop this off. Okay, yeah, so that's had some sort of friction on it. Okay, so this is basically like a clutch disc, isn't it? A clutch plate even. Beg your pardon. Yeah, that is. This is an electronic brake, isn't it? Okay. So what we got going on in here? Can you see down here? We got some magnetic filings going on down there. That's not really great because we've got, this is a coil, and this goes in and out when you apply the power. That goes in and out. Well, this is... I'm going to need to really clean off my work surface here because it is disgusting, and I need to really have a darn good look at that. Basically, it's a copper coil, and it induces a magnetic field, pulls that plunger in towards the back there, basically, and that will release the brake pressure like that. And then when it's turned off, the pressure of that spring again pushes that back up and squashes basically this drive disc, which is on there. But it's basically a clutch, isn't it? Yeah. And these bits of rubber here are basically like your springs in the clutch, aren't they? In the clutch plate. So yeah, what a clever idea. Electronic brake. I suppose it would do because there are no actual brakes on the machine. Let me just turn that off. Right. Lovely. I went downtown earlier to... What did I go downtown for? Oh, I had to have a chest x-ray. And I thought whilst I'm in, as I have not been out of the house for a while, I thought to myself, hey, this might work. No, I thought to myself, right, have a pop into town, just have a gentle walk about. Honestly, what a big mistake that was. I felt awful. I did about 50 yards. And by that time, I was like, you know, well into the Chantry Centre in town. And by golly, I wish I had this thing today, right there. My legs are caning. There we are. The joys of being a spaz. Oh, can I say that? I can't say that anymore, can I? The joys of having ailments. Anyway, the Ribena seems to be nullifying the pain and re-energizing my batteries for tomorrow. What am I doing tomorrow? Bugger all, hopefully. Yeah, I'm going to fire this back together. In actual fact, I could actually whack 12 volts onto this when I've got this together. I could put 12 volts into there. That should disengage this clutch, and I should be able to then turn this disc, and then when you let go of the power, that should reclamp this like that and lock that back up. So I can bench test this as we are, which is good. Right, anyway, right, see you in a bit. Oh my goodness. Right, we're all back together now. The best way for me to bench test this, poor old Kaz has got a cold. Nasty. Shut up.
Sorry, I can't help it.
Oh, crikey, this chair's a bit squeaky. Right, I managed to get this plug off of the end of there. So that's good by using a little tiny flat edge. Just pop it up the end, pop it up the front there. See where the little tiny recesses are at the top of each slot? Stick your screwdriver in there. It bends that little tiny tab back. Get a little tab there, and then you can remove it from the holder. Then, hopefully, we can slide this insulation basically off of here. Let me pause you for a sec. Well, I managed to get that insulation off of there. Let's make my... Look at the state of this work area. You can't work it under these conditions. Right, so we have our positive and negative cables there. Now all I need to do is touch it onto the positive, negative terminals on there and see what happens. What do you reckon? Let's put this down here as a bit of a platform because of the height difference. Is that going to reach there? Not really comfortably, is it? More stuff. Right, let's put this stuff on there. I'll tell you about this stuff later on, unless you want to Google it now. Brilliant bit of kit. Right, let's pop that on there. Okay, and let's try and wedge this, I don't know, in there somehow. Wedge it, easy. Come on, you can do better than wedge it. Right, I'm going to dab that on there, and we'll see if anything happens in there. That sounds to me like it's working. Love, can you give us a hand a minute?
Okay.
Please. This is live. You're seeing this live as we do it. Oh dear.
Sorry.
Right, I'm going to get Caroline to put her fingers in there whilst I do this.
No.
Well, all you gotta do is put your finger, literally move this plate around if you can. Hold it with one hand, and when I click it, just move that plate around in there. It's basically a clutch plate.
I'm not going to get a shock, am I?
You're not going to get a shock, no. No.
I'm scared.
Right, ready? You can move it around. Right, try and centralise it. All right?
Sort of. I don't know if it's central. Yeah, I think so.
So there we go. So now we have an unstuck one of them.
Awesome.
Right, cool. Now I didn't know whether it was stuck really or not to start with, but the motor, actually I could put some voltage in the motor, couldn't we? As we're here. Shall we? I need to prep the cables first. Have I got a line?
It looks like you've got a really big wrinkle in your forehead.
Well, I probably have. This last couple of years. That's not far away, that. But we need to get that exact, otherwise it won't go back on the starter motor.
Okay.
Alright, we'll sort that out in a minute.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's a good one, isn't it? Let me sort the cables out for the starter motor, then we'll give that a whir, see if we get any flingage on the old armature. Alright, things are working. Right, top tip. I've got plenty of top tips for you this evening. When you're putting these plugs back on the end of these female spade terminals that you've put your little screwdriver in there to pull out, if you look at the plug, generally you've got a flat side and a recessed side. Generally the live is always on the recessed side. Okay, save you taking photographs and memorizing, but I had the other end of the plug there to check. So although it sounds like I know what I'm doing, I'm just winging it all the way. Anyway, I had to make a quick comment there, as you're probably screaming at the screen, you engineers out there. This thing, what did I say first of all? Perhaps I should squirt some lithium grease in there to try and free it up. A lack of knowledge is dangerous, isn't it? If you put lithium grease in there, that whole clutch pack is knackered, isn't it? It's basically an electronic brake, isn't it? Solenoid powered electronic brake. So yeah, don't go squirting any lithium oil in there or grease in there. Waterberg. Good job of hindsight's there, isn't it? Right, I need to sort this wiring out now and see if we can get any rotation on the starter motor. Yeah, it's all good in the hood. Oh no, glass is empty. What we got tonight? Oh, dolphins. Here you find E.T. in his natural habitat, which is the shed. Oh, what am I doing? I am doing the... What am I doing? Answers on a postcard. I don't think I know what I'm doing, do I? The mobility scooter, the seat, the thing that I lost so much footage on. Right, I've broken it down into component parts. I've washed all the sponges, they're drying. And this is now what I've got to deal with. Okay, this is properly left just to die, wasn't it? This poor seat. Okay, so you can just see the state of it there. I have been wire brushing bits of it. We have wildlife and music. Oh, 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 oh. So there we have it. Just doing a bit of a before and after, really. If we turn this over, that was the good side you were looking at. Look at this. It is horrible. Just on the turn, so I am going to be wire brushing. Okay, wire brushing that horrible monstrosity, and then adding this stuff. Nutrus 661 5000. Basically, I've had the lid off. Those wires, incidentally, are now here. Look, they have been dipped, and there's the long one up there. I need to just paintbrush the other bit. I've done both the ends. That's how much you could dip it into the container. Who's messaging me now? Brian! I've just been told to leave Asda. What have you been doing, Brian, you naughty boy? Oh dear, have you been flashing again? Oh dear, don't call us, we'll call you, sir. Hang on, what's this? Thank you, says Chris. You need to get a room, you two. I'm just reading between the lines, aren't I? Right, okay. I did manage to get this piece off of the rusted recline mechanism, just through brute force and ignorance, because I could not get that knob off of there because that was protruding through here. So as you can see, it's a little bit sort of stressed because I just went rah, and it came apart. So that's all good. Right, leave me to it, and I'll see thee in a minute. Hello, welcome again once back to ET Restoration. Yes, I have the virus, and it's not good on top of everything else, but onwards and upwards. Right, never let it be never let it be said that nothing that doesn't go in the shed doesn't go in the sink either. There is the canopy, or the front bumper, canopy, steering, footplate. Look at the state. You can see why it's in here. It's just skanky. There's the side bits. They basically go nicely like that. That's a bit. Right, there's the old parts of the seat that I was repairing, wasn't it? Now, that's ready to go back together. Here are the parts of the seat. So we've got bottom sponge, we've got top sponge. In the lounge, we've got the headrest. So as you can see, it's all under good wash. Been through the washing machine. And the cotton, I'm pleased to say, is good enough to take those wires back through. So that's good. That's all I was interested in. Same with that one. Looks a bit tight on the inside, but it's all good on the inside. Right, now, here's my dilemma. Put the batteries on it. On the old beauty. And it's all made of wood because it wouldn't go. Right. So I scratched my head. I had the control box apart. No, I couldn't get anything to work. I took the actual controller itself apart, the speed controller, or the ECU, and I got my little tester out, and I checked most things. A lot of things in there were transistor MOSFETs, and regulators and that sort of thing, rectifiers. So I tested them. There are 7, and I think 3 are broken, because instead of getting a 0 across the drain and the supply, yeah, easy. What are you talking about? Well, on a MOSFET, you've got a gate is the left-hand pin, drain is the center pin, and supply is the right-hand pin. And you go across drain and supply, and you should get a 0 reading. Now across 3 of them, or 3 or 4, I was getting numbers that were going up and down, fluctuating. So I discharged them all, went over it again. 3 of them 0, and the other 4 not 0. So I took the box downtown, thinking it was shot, and I went into a mobility centre scooter shop, and a really good chat with a guy called Danny in there in Andover. Really nice guy. And he said, well, look, let me have it. Let me keep your box, and I will take it back to the yard tonight and rummage through all of our old spares and see what we got. And unfortunately, I phoned him up, and he said, I'm really sorry, buddy, you have to pop back in and pick it up, because we just don't have that one, because that particular model has been superseded by a newer model. And by that, I mean this. It looks identical in every way, except the size. It is like it's like a step down. Okay, look at the size. You can see, just by looking, the difference. This whole scooter is like 1 inch wider, 3 inches longer, 4 inches higher, etc., etc. The frame isn't the same, it's 1 inch bigger. Now, in my infinite wisdom, I thought to myself, get that, because it's working, but it has dead batteries. I have bought new batteries for this one. So push comes to shove, we get that, stick the batteries in it, and it's brilliant. It works beautifully. But it's the 4 mile an hour one. Not that that's a bad thing, but you can't take it on the road. It has lights front and rear, but it has no indicators and hazard lights and that kind of thing. You have to have that for a road legal vehicle. They come with logbooks. The road legal ones actually have a proper V5 logbook. Believe it or not, there you go. It's proof. Oh my God, where was I? So the tops, a bit around the handlebars, are identical, apart from this one has no indicator. All right, it's identical. It literally down to the last detail. Where's the flipping clocks? Oh, the clocks are over there. It's identical, apart from, like I say, these measurement differences. So nothing really mechanically changes over. And I thought, well, what's the difference between the 4 mile an hour and the 8 mile an hour? Well, there must be a difference in ampage. In ampage, and there must be a difference in the gearing. So I looked at the motor on this one. It's always good to be prepared, isn't it? See, look at that, look. Identical, apart from these are just reflectors, not indicators. And you'd think that would slip onto that one, but it doesn't. It's different size. And the way you can tell... No, hang on. The way you can tell is the original scooter, the first gen,
this hole here is here. This is the second gen because the electronics have moved. Let me just take that off. I don't want to make this too complicated. So I thought to myself, well, have a look at the motor eadsie. This must be a stronger motor, or, oh, for God's sake, let's turn that light off. Where's the light on this? There. Let's turn the light off. So we've basically got an M4 8MNW2. I thought I'll have a look at this one over here. Oh, my knees. M4 8NMW2. And even these numbers are the same. Gearbox wise, the gearbox is bigger. An actual fact, the starter motor, the driven motor, let's put that light back on now. Instead of having, like there is on this motor, that keyway with like a push drive that drives a shaft coming out of the gearbox, on this one, the armature on the motor protrudes out and goes into this gearbox. Because I was just thinking, well, to use this controller off of this bike, just to test that one, would it blow it because this is bigger and more juicier, or all that kind of thing? Because that's only a 30 amp breaker, the other one's a 35 or whatever. Long story short, I took the controller off, put it on this one, and would you believe it? Beep, beep, beep. Started working. First of all, actually, before I did anything, I took this one, which is the broken one, from this cart. I took this off and I plugged it in to that one. And all it did was bleep constantly. Now, in hindsight, I know now that bleeping is error. Depending on how fast they bleep, or like it's like a Morse code, you can tell the amount of bleeps is a certain code sort of thing, basically. So I then took this one off of that new donor one, and I put it on this one. Works beautifully. So I am in the process now of stripping, cleaning, oiling, greasing, checking, and I'm going to put it all back together with the new radio control, which is somewhere. Can't see it, doesn't really matter. The new speed controller. Ah, there it is. But it's smaller. This is 70, and on that one I think it's an 88. So this one is for this. If you're following, can't really see. It's smaller by about an inch each way, but the plugs are identical. Absolutely identical. Now the ones you can find online on eBay and such, the plugs are different colours, different shapes. So that's why I initially plugged that in to this one, because the plugs were the same and it worked. So my philosophy is, if that controls that fine and this fine, and the motors are the same, so they're drawing the same ampage, why not? There is no kicker and there is no caveat, whatever that means. Suffice to say that when I collect the controller box back for this one, thank you. If it's Jehovah's Witnesses, carry on. Otherwise, oh, did I say that out loud? Sorry. Come on, let me let you out. No, you're only going to bark, sod you. When I get that, what the bada? It's children. Oh, for God's sake. Go on then, go and eat them. Only eat one at a time, you get stuck in your throat otherwise, don't they? Right, so when I get that other one back, oh God. I've got an awful feeling that it's going to work. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Suffice to say, I will then put that original controller back in the original scooter, so it's basically just got the new handlebar controller, which is identical to the one that's dead. Now, in this controller, you've got the forward and reverse, okay? Basically, it's a potentiometer. And there it is. That's £45. And they have a limited amount of movements. I think it's something like 15,000. Sounds a lot, doesn't it? But when you're going like this constantly, that number soon goes down. Now, I found out the year of manufacture of this one, and it's 2004. So the thing is 20 years old. I don't know how long it's been on the roads for that time, but for 20 years, for 15,000 maximum thing, potentiometer is a bloody lot. So I'm guessing that a new one of those is going to fix anything that was ever wrong with that. You can actually buy these second hand, the part that goes on the handlebars. I think they're about 52 quid or something. So at the end of the day, yeah, that new donor one was 225. This one that was broken was 50. That's still way under for one of these, way under. So if I can get them both working, I'm absolutely loving. Now here's the beauty. There is the seat for this new one. The new one is in brilliant condition, I've got to say. And it even has this plastic cover, which covers the underside of the seat, which that one out there doesn't have. It's absolutely beautiful, works brilliantly. And do you know what the best part is? It's the other headrest, actually. It doesn't have a head. The back isn't as big, because that isn't the back. Yes, it is. That's the back. Hasn't got a headrest. Do I need a headrest? Time will tell. It is so much lighter than that one out there, because you've got the mechanism. You've got the big lever thing that I had to get that plastic panel off of to fold the seat down. This one just folds down when you unclip the two poppers at the back. Simple. It's an involvement from the original great big, mechanical seat, basically. So it's lighter, sportier. It won't be lighter with me on it, of course. But anyway, so there we are. I've bought another one to make a good one out of two. And now it's looking like I can get both going. Oh, look at this, look. Oh, I'm suffering. I should be in bed. But as you can see, the lounge is just unlivable. So to save upsetting Caroline, I'm trying my best there to get it cleaned and done. So back to the sink for me. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch up with you soon. Right, take it easy. Any questions or helpful tips, please leave them down below. Alright team, is it? I don't know, is it recording? I think it is. Right, where are we? Kitchen. Right, let's get back onto these seats now for this mobility scooter. I picked up the other one, as you saw earlier, and that is the seat from it. I was going to use that seat, but here's the thing. I might not. It all depends on how this lot here turns out. Oh my God. These tie rods turned out well. They've been dipped in the rust treatment. This has all been gone over with the rust treatment after a good sand. So is this. Look at that now. Like that was rusty as hell before. Right, so there's the other cushion. Right, what I've done so far is I've put these wires back into the places that they need to go. And there, look. So now I just have to offer that onto the sponge whilst this is in the other way round, inside out, in the right way. and then you have to do the tie wraps, which is really, really easy. It's so easy, it's not worth commenting on. But that's it. Anyway, I've got to go and drop the kids off at the pool, so nothing else matters at the moment. I'll catch you guys in a bit. Wish me luck. Not with the kids. Here we go, just a little bit of me doing something, so you know I'm not bluffing. Where's that bend? There's the bend. There's the bend there. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm fixing to the framework basically with this. So anyway, what I should have done really was put a piece of black plastic in there just to tidy it up a little bit. Right, so I've got them around there. We can pull them in tight. I've got a stinker. I've got a right stinker. Oh, yeah. Absolute stinker. Right, you can kind of see what's going on now with this. I'll put that in there. And put that under there. And you're basically using this square jig as an anchor point. I'm not going to pull that down all the way yet because I want to just flip this over and make sure that is square kind of thing. I've got the shakes this morning. I don't know why. I've had my breakfast. I've got the shakes. My knee bone. There we go. Another one. It is relatively quick, but doing some parts of it is a real bugger. I've just got to tie that bit in there, look, and then tie that bit in there by putting my last wire in. Put that in there, like so. Oops. Just put it the right way around, easy. There, and then those four, see the four little holes there? Let's have a look. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4. They just tie on to there. And then when that's finished, you'll have something nice to sit on. This has got to be pulled tight yet, as is that. It probably won't be 100% tight because the spongy is old, isn't it? So let's put it down there a little bit. That's it. Here's the back bit I did earlier. So looking good. Just got to hammer in these two top pieces for the headrest to slot into. I've got to do a bit of tidying up, don't I? First of all, I'm going to give this another while. It's been through the washing machine. It's still quite gammy, so I want to get some like Jif on there. Yes, Europeans, Jif, not Sif. And give us our bloody marathons back. You can keep your Snickers. Yeah. Right, so it's getting there, isn't it? Right, catch you there in a bit. Last little part of it. Let's nip these up. How satisfying is that? And it looks so much better than those nasty old rusty clips, doesn't it? I like to cut these using side cutters, and I angle it so it's 90 degrees, well, it's parallel with that. Otherwise, you get a flipping sharp edge sticking up, which catches everybody out all the time. Okay, and I just spin them round. You can just spin them round a little bit, perhaps not. Okay, so there's that. Let's turn her over. Let's see what we got. That is sit-onable, isn't it? This side, we've got one part of the mechanism. And then this one, if I remember rightly, got 2 bolt holes up in there. That bolt's on there. Which way round does it go? One of those ways anyway. And then I can bolt the back on. Right. I hope you're feeling better than I am. I'll catch you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Right, back at it. Posty's been, and he delivered this little potentiometer for the flippy flappy paddle, by which I mean the putt that you press to go forward and that. It was about 35 quid. It wasn't cheap for one of these. You can get these cheap, but get what you pay for. And this one, you can literally, it will literally roll itself around. There is no resistance at all. That's the old one, obviously. New one, I've put it in now. I was going to just show you all me doing that, but we just turn him on. Let's get rid of that light. We don't need that light on while we're going. Okay, so forward. I've took it out of gear. Let's go backwards first. Forward. And yeah, I'm reckoning that's going to be rapid. We've got lights. We've got LED lights now. Look at that. Cool bananas. Right, let's turn that off. Put that back off. Okay, so I'm chuffed, but I'm absolutely, physically, mentally pooped. I can't even get back on the floor and start putting things together because I'm just shagged. Properly and utterly shagged. Boo-hoo, eadsie. You will do these stupid things. Yes, I know. Anyway, I think the last part of this little series will be me putting it all back together and taking it for a blast up the M3. Yeah. What do you mean no? You're not allowed to take invalid carriages on the motorway, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not. It's true. Right, I'll catch you later. I am actually pleased, believe it or not, with how it's gone. But like I say, cheers.